everybody, it's Restita on the TobaccyLassy's channel. Thanks for tuning in. Today I just want to do a short review on my findings on Man O War Ruination by AJ Fernandez. And before we get into that particular review, I just want to say something about AJ Fernandez cigars. You cannot go wrong with AJ Fernandez cigars. I've only had a few of the AJ line, Ruination being one of them. But I tell you what, it's and I've got more in a Humi just aging and just sitting there resting, waiting for me to get to them. But you know, I know I've heard like a lot of great stuff about it, but I usually try not to let other opinions affect the way I look at a cigar. So anyway, I heard a lot of good reviews about Ruination, but decided, hey, about 3 months ago, I bought a 5-pack and said, okay, let's see what this is all about. And that's where I want to start. I want to start 3 months ago. Okay, so right off the truck, the first one I lit, pepper bomb from the beginning. Woo! Right through the nose. It was like, wow. Okay. Now I like pepper bomb out through the nose. I love it. I absolutely love that sensation of pepper through the nose, which probably explains why I like dragon snuff. And if you do snuff and you haven't tried dragon, that's D-R-A-G-U-N, try it. It will wake your ass up. It's great. Great stuff. Just don't sniff it so hard that it goes into your throat. You won't like it. Anyhow, we're not doing a review on snuff. We're doing a review on this cigar, Man O War Ruination. Okay, so that particular cigar was great all the way through. Pepper at the beginning, the first cigar. Pepper at the beginning, kind of like a woody cocoa in the middle, and then the last third I kind of pitched it during the first half of the last third because it started to get harsh. But I figured, hey, you know what? I just smoked it right off the truck. It took like 5 days to get to me. Whatever. Okay, now a month after that, so we're into the second, about a month in. Okay. It changed a little bit. There was still the pepper bomb at the beginning, but the middle third of that second cigar, more cocoa, coffee, and the woodiness came out of it. More cedar, more oak. Okay, very pleasant. And that last third, like I said, I had to. Oh, that was the first one. The last third, I didn't have to pitch. In fact, I nubbed it because it was a deep espresso and cocoa with a little bit of cedar. Incredible. Now, the great thing was for that second cigar was in the second third and the last third, the flavors of cocoa, coffee, cedar, oak, earthiness kept changing with every puff. You know, some puffs I would get more cocoa. Some puffs I would get. I remember that second cigar. There was in the second third, there was like 2 puffs where I could swear I ate like fudge cake. It was pretty incredible. But like I said, the flavors kept changing with every puff. It was very, very nice, and that's why I nubbed it. Okay, now we're here, about 2.5 months in, almost 3 months in, and I tell you what, you know, just even 3 months rest in a Humi just really brought out stuff with the cigar. I can't imagine what it would taste like after 6 months or a year or longer, right? Okay, but let's talk about this particular one. The pepper at the beginning of the cigar was still there in like for me it was an intense pepper, but there was sweetness behind it. Okay, what I like to do with the first puff is I'll take a slow, long puff, let it out really slow, and then let it out through the nose, and actually like swallow from the back of my tongue to kind of get those flavors and inhale at the same time. And boy, oh boy, it was sweet, it was peppery, it was cedary, it was earthy. No coffee yet, but it was pretty nice. As I got into the first third of this, sorry, I want to keep it lit. As I got into the first third, the cedar started to come in. Okay. Now toward the end of that first third, did I say second third a second ago? Anyway, the end of that first third, a sense of like, oh, how do I explain it? It's not woody, but more like pith. The inside of the stem of a plant. It started kind of tasting like that. Now, this is off subject, but I'm going to tell you why I use the word pith. Okay, funny story. Anyway, my dad, he used to be a professional landscaper. And and we had these beautiful old rose bushes in my backyard. And I was about 5 or 6, and I tried to clip off a poor rose that looked like it was drooping and dying. Now, this rose, I kid you not, was this big. It was huge when I was a kid, but if I were to look at it now, it was like this big. It was huge, and it was just drooping. All right, beautiful pink and red and purple rose. I don't know what strain it was. Dad knew, but I didn't. I was only 5. Anyway, so I tried to clip it off, and I dissected it, right? My dad let me have my first penknife when I was 5 years old, and I took my penknife and I cut it open, cut it in half, and kind of dug out the pith. And I thought, wow, look at that. That's kind of cool. I like how it crumbled, and I played with it with my fingernail and with the knife, and I kind of marveled at how spongy it was and stuff. And then my dad came out and caught me chewing on the pith part. Actually, according to him, I had the whole stem in my mouth, and I was trying to get the pith out. I think I was trying to make like it was sugar cane. I guess I was trying to eat it like I ate sugar cane in the Philippines or whatever, right? And he said, "Get that out of your mouth. What are you trying to do?" Blah, 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 blah. Anyway, he was pissed. But to this day, I still remember that flavor. I still remember the smell of it. And that comes in through the cigar. It's not bad. It's kind of like an earthy, woody type of it's hard to explain, but it was very pleasant and really added to the coffee and the cocoa, and the oakiness and the cedariness of the stick. It was really good. Believe me when I tell you that, okay? All right, now, we are here at the last third. And it's turned from coffee, creamy, cedary, oaky, pithy, that kept changing. Keep in mind that kept changing on the second third. It's now turned into a dark espresso with just a tad bit of vanilla cream. Just a tad. It's pretty good. Pepper, not so much. It's still there on the retrohale, but here, let me check. Yeah, it's still there on the retrohale, but it's in the back. It's in the background. The pepper really doesn't hit through the whole nasal passage anymore. It's like more in the back of the nose and back of the tongue. Okay. The espresso, dark espresso, is really pulling through with just a tad bit of bitterness. Not much. It's not a bad bitterness, and it's not like a skanky wet bitterness that you would get, on a wet nub, that kind of thing. It's still very pleasant. The aroma coming off of it is incredible right now. It smells like a mixture of chocolate cake dunked in coffee. I kid you not. It smells like chocolate cake dunked in coffee, and if you put it up to your mouth to go take a drink and chew on it, that's kind of what it smells like. So anyway, I'm just going to predict that this last little half inch that I'm going to smoke until it reaches my fingers is going to be a mixture of cocoa, chocolate, coffee, a little bit of cedar, a little bit of vanilla, creamy espresso in it, and the aroma. This is like incense. If I could burn this in my studio, I would. But I can't, which is why I'm out here in my studio's parking lot in my car. Anyway, I'm just going to sit here and enjoy the incense coming off of the foot of this stick. And if you haven't tried Man O War Ruination, please do. You might get different flavors out of it than I did, but it is, if anything, it's satisfying. And if you're a beginner, it's strong. Okay? It's strong now. I can feel it in my gut. It's not making me sick, but I definitely feel it talking to me. All right, the nicotine is there. I've got a little bit of a buzz. So if you're a beginner, smoke it slow, go easy on it. Don't puff it like a madman or madwoman, because I don't know. I mean, it might overtake you. It might not. Who knows? But if you're an experienced cigar smoker and you've been smoking one type of cigars for years and years and years, and you want to get into the brands that a lot of the 20-somethings and the 30-somethings are getting into, I found that these AJ Fernandez cigars, as well as the Drew Estate line, and some other lines, tend to appeal more to 20-somethings, 30-somethings, 40-somethings. I'm almost 50, gonna be 50 in July, and I found that I'm more attracted to the classic brands like Romeo y Julieta, Cohiba, Partagas. Same with pipe tobacco. There's a lot of newbie boutique pipe tobacco out now, and I haven't tried it yet, but I think I should. I've just been concentrating more on the cigars just in the last 3 months. And I must say the last 3 months of getting into this hobby has been so enjoyable. Now, I want to put a shout out there real quick to cigardojo.com. If you're into cigars or new to cigars and you haven't discovered cigardojo.com, go over there. They have an app for Android and for iPhone, and I tell you what, it is I found the best social media for cigar smokers there is. Their motto is never smoke alone. In fact, every time I light up a stick, I'm on Cigar Dojo. People share what they're smoking that day. People, make friends on there, send each other sticks, do trades, cigar bombs as we call them, where you just send somebody a care package. It's great, and everybody there is so nice. What I found, and this is kind of a rant, is that in some other forums, like snooze, snuff, and pipe tobacco, some other forums, some people can be kind of snobby. And I talked about this a little bit in my previous video a couple days ago, that some people can be kind of snobby, and I hate snobs, can't stand them. But at Cigar Dojo, there aren't any. In fact, you will get booted out of Cigar Dojo if you're overly disrespectful outside of normal kidding around, because we kid around on there. But if you're like obviously disrespectful, if you got an attacking kind of an attitude or something like that, boop, you're out. Master Sensei himself will boot your ass out. And anyway, for the most part, I felt very welcome at the Cigar Dojo. My second day there, I was welcomed by a bunch of guys and gals, and I thought, oh my gosh, I had to wait like a month on some other forums for anyone to even talk to me. And in being a woman, a female in the cigar smoking world, which is, as what people would call, a largely male dominated hobby, I thought I was gonna get looked down my nose at, or looked down the nose at. I was gonna be like, oh, it's a woman trying to smoke cigars. No, everyone's like, yeah, go for it. You go, sister. And I was like, it's really good for newbies to any hobby to find that kind of support. So anyway, that's my shout out to the Cigar Dojo. Thanks to Master Sensei, the head of cigardojo.com, and all the crew over there, and all of the members there that have been so kind, so helpful to me. It's without you guys, I wouldn't know what's good, what's not. So thank you, Cigar Dojo. Thank you so much. And everyone else, get the Man O War Ruination. We'll talk to you all next time. Bye-bye now.